Thanks for joining us. Meteorologist Nicole Karkic with you. Sunday, how did it shape up across the country? Well, Whitehorse, really the only city here on the map that was above average at 0. Calgary, you were around seasonal at 0 degrees, so not above, just where you should be. We've got Montreal -3. Toronto was -4, and Halifax, you were -2. But a nice storm-free weekend in Atlantic Canada, that has changed. Already this morning, you are seeing some snow moving through the maritime provinces. St. John, you've picked up 9 centimeters of snow so far. That is going to continue to track into Newfoundland this afternoon. By about noon, the snow picks up Corner Brook towards Gander. The Avalon also seeing snow, but there is some mixing in the forecast as the day goes on. Relatively fair. Alberta, though, is seeing some snow this morning. Whitecourt down over towards places like Edson. There are 2 storms to talk about this week, one today and one coming for you on Wednesday. This afternoon, temperatures sitting around +1 for Halifax. Sherbrooke will be -6. Montreal sitting at -3. Montreal, you're going to see some sunshine, clear conditions for you this afternoon across southern Quebec, but that changes as we head into tomorrow. Tuesday morning, also a lot colder than this morning. Look at Montreal at -17. St. John's even colder at -3. Let's take you next to this winter. So let's talk about this. Coldest February on record. So this is the overall average temperature, what it was each and every day, averaged out over the 28. We've got February 2015, -12 the average. The previous record was -10.8. So if you felt it was cold, you were right. In Toronto as well as Hamilton, and Hamilton, a similar trend for you. We have a storm coming through tomorrow, and it comes through by the afternoon. A little bit of rain possibly in the southwest. The pink represents the potential for a few hours of freezing rain. We could see some warnings pop up with this. It's going to start off as snow, Toronto, Kingston, over towards Ottawa, but then there's the potential for freezing rain or ice pellets again for Tuesday evening. So it'll be a very messy commute home, and Tuesday evening you might want to change your plans a bit if you're going to be traveling a lot in Ontario. Coming up, more on how much snow you're going to see in Ontario. Oh, the Bahamas sounds nice now, doesn't it? And considering we're sitting at -16 in Winnipeg this morning, Toronto's -7, and we do have some snow on the way for you in Newfoundland, and snowing this morning in the Maritimes. Calgary's at -7 with snow. Bahamas sounds like a great getaway. So Tuesday afternoon, Nassau getting up to 28 degrees. Mix of sun and cloud. Freeport will get up to 28. Over towards Miami, 27. So looking pretty good for the vacation. And Georgetown will be 25. Good morning, Canada. Happy Monday. Some top stories to consider. Spring Outlook will be unveiled tomorrow right here on TV, 6 a.m. Eastern Time. So we're going to find out what the patterns are as we head into spring. Cold snow and freezing rain for some in the east, and historic February by the numbers. Pretty impressive for you, especially Ontario to Atlantic Canada. February 2015, we're looking at our max temperatures versus the minimum temperatures. St. John, 2 degrees was the highest you reached in February. But -28 was the coldest, so a huge spread across the month. And it was, of course, also very snowy. This afternoon, Regina's -6, Winnipeg -4, so fairly seasonal for you there. Toronto's -3, Halifax will be +1, and St. John's -1. Your bigger story in Atlantic Canada today is that after a nice storm-free weekend, we've got watches and warnings for Newfoundland, blowing snow advisories, Daniels Harbour, Stephenville, Corner Brook also included, gusts up to 80 kilometers an hour. Deer Lake over towards Gander will be seeing some snow in St. Lawrence as well. Those are winter storm watches and warnings. So the timing on this is around noon today. The snow will pick up, and then the winds pick up through the evening and overnight. Blizzard warnings as well. With a trough sitting over the Hudson Bay, we've got Rankin Inlet in a blizzard warning for today. Snowfall amounts. Moncton this winter, 388 centimeters of snow. Now, we do have Nathan Coleman joining us right now. He is in Halifax, where it's lightly snowing. It looks pretty beautiful. There are no watches and warnings in place for the Maritimes right now, Nathan, so I'm wondering, have you heard of any school closures at this point? That's right. March starts to get warmer. We've got daylight saving time starting this weekend on Sunday, so less sleep, but a lot more daylight. Through this evening, this is how much snow you're going to see. Halifax, about 2 to 5 centimeters for you. It didn't look very windy where Nathan was, and the winds will pick up this afternoon, but it is definitely below wind warning criteria. You have seen worse this winter. Towards Sydney, 5 to 10 centimeters of snow. So yes, some fresh snow on the ground. Do be careful. becomes much more of a serious situation with just more snow in Newfoundland, stronger winds, 10 to 20 centimeters over towards Gander, and the Avalon will see some mixing, so your snowfall totals a little bit lower. An interesting story setting up in Ontario with a Colorado low moving through Tuesday morning. It's going to be in southwest Ontario, then it shoves into southern Ontario, London, Erie, even towards the greater Toronto region. It's that time to share your weather. So I get pictures sent to me on Twitter at Nicole Karkic, and then I'm able to give a personalized forecast to that person based on where they live. So Steve, this weekend was at the festival, the Maple Festival in Essex County, Ontario. So Steve, this is your personalized forecast for today. This afternoon, a mix of sun and cloud. It'll be -3 with winds sustained at about 15 kilometers an hour. Absolutely stunning. And speaking of frozen, I was up in Georgian Bay, and this was down by the harbor. This boat, oh, there we go. We'll take you back. That boat was going nowhere, and also that's me snowshoeing on Georgian Bay. It was absolutely frozen. Now, in Alberta, he was in the north, and he captured the Aurora Borealis. We got a lot of other Aurora Borealis pictures from our website, so pretty spectacular. Keep sending them in. It was absolutely stunning if you could see it. Now, our spring outlook is being revealed Tuesday morning at 6 a.m. Eastern time, so check in with us tomorrow to see what it looks like where you live. Right now, Nathan tells us if people are looking forward to it. There were clear skies in parts of Alberta. We also had good conditions in northern BC, straight across towards the east, but you had to be far north to enjoy them. Glad you could join us. Look at Sunday and your highs. Whitehorse, we've gotten a different color because you were the only city on this map that was above average. You were either at seasonal or below. Calgary at seasonal for 0 on Sunday. Toronto -4. Halifax, you were -2. And for today, yes, we've written stormy here for Atlantic Canada. The Maritime Province is seeing some snow. St. John has already picked up about 6 centimeters. We will see a little bit more before it tracks into Newfoundland, where there are winter storm watches and warnings in place. So it looks like it's much more concerning for Newfoundland just because of those strong winds and our snowfall rates. But right now over Halifax, you can see the radar bringing us that snow and towards Cape Breton Island. And in Halifax is where we find Nathan Coleman, who's joining us this morning, where it is lightly snowing. And Nathan, looks like you found some friends. Why don't you introduce us? All right, good on them for at least trying to go for the run. But yes, it is a little bit slippery out there. This afternoon, temperatures are going to be sitting at -3 for Montreal. You're going to be -2 in Moncton. But then look what happens Tuesday. A big, sharp contrast. It's going to be a lot colder in the wake of that system. We're going to usher in some cold northerly winds. Montreal -17. Halifax jumping from just around the freezing mark today to -13 tomorrow morning. Now let's take you next to Hamilton. Fresh ice to be skated on. It has been cold, so cold that we were the coldest February on record now for Hamilton, as well as Pearson for Toronto. So if you thought it was cold, it certainly was. And Pearson International Airport, here's another fun stat. We've got you at number 3. Last week we were sitting at number 4 for 36 days without topping 0 degrees. So we've got the spring outlook coming for you. It is tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. Eastern time. Here's a preview, though, of our winter outlook and our good forecasting on that. Now, before this storm gets to Newfoundland and Labrador, it is in the Maritime Provinces for this morning and the afternoon, bringing in a general 2 centimeters across New Brunswick, a bit more from Moncton, and we're seeing that snow from Yarmouth over towards Lunenburg. Halifax for you, 2 to 5 centimeters, and for Sydney, a bit more, about 5 to 10 centimeters on the way. Then it tracks into Newfoundland as the day goes on, and you'll be looking at very strong winds across Newfoundland, especially on the western shores of the island.